Well, hey everyone, this is Lacey with RedSail Property Management, and today I am here with Yolanda, and I'm really looking forward to hearing her experience because she's actually one of our former RedSail homeowners who was with us for about 4 years before she decided to sell. So, Yolanda, thank you for being here. I'm just going to start with a question and let you share your experience from there, and I may jump in with a question or two as we go. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a perfect plan.
Awesome. So, if I'm not mistaken, you had experience with another property manager prior to Red Sale, right?
I did.
And what was that? How was that?
So I'm a retired military person. At the time I was active duty. And so I was going to try to sell my home, and then that kind of fell through. And so I was like, oh, let me rent it. And so when I initially met Brian, he was partners with another gentleman. And then the gentleman was by himself. But then he sold the company. And so I had this horrible experience with the next owners of the company. And I remembered seeing that Brian had started his own company. And so I reached out to him because my experience with him from the beginning has always been very pleasant, has always been just the most a kind, professional experience with him. And so I reached out to him. I told him what was going on. And so from there, when the lease ended with those tenants, Brian took over for me. And from the start to the 4 years later, when he helped me sell my home, it was the most effortless experience I could have ever asked for. I had left here. I was stationed in Washington, D.C., and whatever I needed, they were always just a phone call away. From the staff they always told me everything that was happening. If we had new tenants, they explained. And the most important part was that they were my property managers through the pandemic. And so all these different transitions were going on. We didn't, so as a homeowner, you don't know, like, oh my God, like, is the tenants going to be able to pay? And the blessed part for me, they're military people, but I was prepared to, kind of work some things out. But, from the maintenance, I can't remember her name, but the maintenance lady to the lady, so from Nicole to the other young lady who was kind of sending out, finding the tenants, like, they were just perfect. Like, if something needed to be fixed in the house, they were very communicative. They would share the information. Hey, Yolanda, this is what's going on, and so there was never anything that happened that I wasn't aware about. And so I had friends too that were having this horrible experience with their property manager. And so, like, I became like this super advocate because I'm like, oh my God, my property manager company, they're freaking amazing. Like, you should reach out to them, and tell them that Yolanda sent you. And so it was just wonderful for me. It took the stressors off. I was already stressed with moving. I was stressed with, like, this was my first time renting a home. Being a military person, you see horrible experiences that people have. Some people are overseas and they're wondering what's going on with their home because people aren't communicating, they aren't sharing information. But I never had that experience. And my mother passed away and we own a home in Mississippi. And if you guys were close enough, you'd be the property manager because it sucks self-managing because it's a small town in Mississippi. So I couldn't find a property manager. And so it's been the most challenging thing. And just experiencing that myself, having to travel, having to do all this different stuff, it allows you to have a greater appreciation for people who are helping to fill that gap for you, and they're doing it well.
Sure. That says it all. I was going to say, what's been the greatest benefit of having, or ask it, what's been the greatest benefit of having Red Sale? But it seems like you've said it all, unless you want to add anything else.
I would say if you're a person and you're wondering, should I, have a property manager, and then who should that be? I would absolutely say yes. Because it takes away the stress from yourself. Sure. And why should I choose RedSail? Because they are dedicated. Your process is effortless. They will answer whatever question that you have, and you don't have to worry about the challenges that sometimes can happen because they really are dedicated. And I'm not just saying that because I know some of them personally. Like, I'm really saying that as a professional, and I'm kind of anal retentive, but they like, I never had to wonder what was going on with my home. And I think as a homeowner, and if you're renting your property, those are some of the main concerns that you have. You know, am I going to have good tenants? Are they going to honor what I've told them my criteria is? And not only do they honor it, they go above what I could even have thought of in what I should be looking for in a tenant, and making sure that my property is cared for. And, you know, so choose RedSail because they are the greatest on this side of the peninsula, the other side of the peninsula, and to me, in the whole state of Virginia.
Yolanda, thank you. This has been amazing to hear. And I know I speak for the team when I say it was a true pleasure to be your partner in property management. And we so appreciate you sharing your experience with us today.